Okay, well, the good news is it looks like that worked. So here is the what do I want to call it? The debrief for today. So what I did today, I had scheduled about 4 hours to work on the outline, making sure I got the chapters correct. As usual, outline kind of got ahead of me because probably because I'm trying to do too much at the same time. I'm thinking of, here's the plot outline, but I'm also working in the subplot lines. There's going to be a subplot related to dangerous liaison, or well, I can't even say it properly, and I speak French. Les liaisons dangereux. Les liaisons dangereux. Jesus, it's hard to say. Dangerous liaison. So there's a subplot for that, which meant that I kind of had to do some research on it. I'm trying to get the names of the characters related to. I want there to be some. I want the themes are consistent, so some of the plot points are, I'm stealing them from Dangerous Liaisons, and the characters are fairly similar, but I need to change their names and make them English and believable. Style of the book is completely different. I'm not doing epistolarian style. It's not letters based at all, and it's going to be a horror. So again, it's a serious horror novel. The Dangerous Liaison part is a subplot, so I had to do some research on that. And then I'm trying to get the characters. Basically, a lot of this is the characters in the book are based on people in my life, but I can't relate their actions without affecting their careers. So I'm moving it to a different country, putting it into the United States. I'm changing their names. Decided what I wanted to do was find a place in the southern United States that was relatively gay friendly while still having elements of homophobia present in the rural areas, which we're in luck because that's pretty much the entire world. But it had to be by a big city, but not too close to a big city. So I ended up finding a place, I think it's called Grizzly Park, just outside of Houston, which luckily enough is on Whippokill Road, which is one of those signs like maybe that's a good place to use it. One of the characters in the book is a chemistry professor. So I had to look up the chemistry professors at the University of Houston. I don't know why I said it that way. Houston. And I got a weird thing because there's actually a post at the University of Houston called the Robert Welch Chair. Robert Welch is my husband, who's upstairs right now, who I've recently separated from, and I know, coincidences, but it also sounded like maybe this is the right place. So for right now, that's what I'm working with. I could end up changing it, and that's the weird thing about first drafts is I think I know what I'm doing going in, but by the time I finish the first draft, I could have a completely different idea of what's happening. The other main element of the book is the relationship between magic and science, and what is magic and what isn't magic, what is science, what is not science. It's something that I thought about putting into Alien Brain Fog, but Alien Brain Fog is going to be focused on what is memory and how does memory relate to identity, and I thought that'd be a bit too much to put another whole theme in it. So one of the main characters is a witch. The interplay between the witch and the chemistry professor, I thought, is a nice way to deal with all of that. What is science and what is not. Important for me right now because we're living in an age when everyone thinks that they are right. I'll give you an example. In Alien, part of the inspiration for Alien Brain Fog was the Mandela Effect. So the Mandela Effect is a phenomenon that's easily researchable. You can Google it, where people have false memories. For example, it's named after number of people believe they have a memory of Nelson Mandela dying in the 1980s, and I'm one of them. I clearly remember watching television, and turning to my father said, "Dad, who was Nelson Mandela?" Because we were watching his funeral on television. And my father told me about who Nelson Mandela was and why it was so sad, and this was a good thing that his wife is going to carry on the movement. And then I forgot about it. until I saw him on television 10 years later, and I kept thinking, I remember him dying. That's weird. So with the Mandela Effect, people believe that there has been a split in reality, that somehow time has altered, where the largest conspiracy is that the super collider at CERN somehow caused a shift that has shifted in reality, that has forced us into an alternate dimension. Because that's easier. It's easier to believe that than to think, you know what, I might be wrong. And that drives me nuts. No one is willing to admit that they're wrong. Like, I have a very clear memory of something happening that didn't happen. So there's two ways to look at it. Either I am wrong, or multi-dimensions are possible. I mean, but still there's people that believe the other option is more believable and easier to swallow than just admitting you were wrong. That's relating to science. Because nowadays, living with these COVID deniers and all of these idiots, fucking idiots that think that they know more than hundreds of years of science, everyone is convinced that they're right. But they have no idea what science actually is. So I wanted to do something about what is science and what is magic. Because I believe magic exists. But I think people don't really... When I say magic exists, I don't mean that I can hop on a broom and fly around the room. That would be great right now with gas prices as they are, but that's not how magic works. So I'm going to talk about what magic, in the view of Aleister Crowley, had this idea of what magic was, and that's what I'm going to go with. What is high magic, and what does it mean? A little bit of a spoiler. What used to be called magic is now just called the power of positive thinking and the law of attraction. That's what magic used to be. So I'm going to talk about what that is and how it relates to science and what is art, because writing is kind of a science and kind of an art, and that's also something that's going to work through there. So as you can see, this is like the sort of stuff that I didn't deal with my fantasy books. I didn't deal with any of the... I focused on plot and character. But I turned 50 last year, and I realized that maybe I have something else to say aside from just sword go slash. maybe I can share something I've learned, and maybe that might make the story better. Could also make the story much worse. I don't know until I try. So today has been, I think, good. I got some good work done. Not as much as I wanted to. I don't feel like the plot is... I don't feel like the outline is really finished yet, so I'm going to spend some more time on it tomorrow. But I have enough to get started. So after supper, I'm going to jump into actual writing, and I will come back later and let you know how the writing went.